Welcome back to Make It Mondays, and this week I'm going to be working on a new blanket. And that blanket's going to be made out of some homespun yarn, so gray and blue, teal, peacock, something like that. And it's going to be done corner to corner entrelac. So I've done entrelac blankets on this channel before. This one's going to be a little different because A, it's out of homespun, and B, because I'm going to be doing the blocks not in even numbers. So I'm going to get the first block done, and then I will turn on the camera and show you how the rest is done. So I have the first block fully done, and it's currently facing wrong side up. And then this is the start of the next block. So this is what I meant of they're not the same size. This one is going to be 30 stitches across, while this one was 18. Currently there are 29 stitches over here, and then I'm going to knit into the first stitch on the previous block, then turn the work and knit all the way back. And to a certain extent, that's just how this whole thing works. Because I'm doing this with two different colors of yarn, it's only two different colors. I'm not going to worry about making sure that there's truly a right side and a wrong side. So all of the seams will just go where they go instead of me forcing it one direction or the other. So this will work back and forth, adding that the next stitch of the previous block all the way up. And I will come back to show how I pick up from the side, which is the next part. So here's that first block that I worked on, and now the second block. And now it's going to be time to pick up the third. So because I'm slipping the first stitch of every row, I've got a nice V to pick up into. So inserting my needle, looping around and pulling through all the way across. And once I get all the way across, I'm going to double check my count. For this, I do tend to loop over the needle. People do this differently. I've mentioned this before, but it's always worth re-mentioning. I knit, quote, wrong. I wrap the wrong direction most of the time when I knit, so if I don't read my stitches and make them straight when I knit into them, they will end up twisted, which is not typically what's wanted. So that's all the way across. So we're not going to count this first stitch over here because that's the last one of this row of bind offs. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 16, 18, and that's the right number. And now I'm going to be doing garter stitch, so knitting every row for 30 garter ridges on this side and then doing an extra row. And that way I can pick up the next block going this way. As you can see, I am almost out of space on this set of needles. So the next time you'll see me, I probably will have already switched to the next set of needles, and I'll be picking up this main big blue block in the middle. Be back in a bit. So here is the little square, and now I'm about to pick up the bigger square. So I'm going to hold the yarn in such a way that I can pick up, insert through the last stitch, pick up one stitch through there, and then continue to pick up stitches along that edge. So again, inserting through both of the legs of the slip stitch, wrapping around and pulling over. Trying not to split the yarn as much as humanly possible. So I'm going to do that all the way across and then work it just like the other squares where I was doing a knit 2 together on the left hand side of the square, working all the way up. So this is going to make a 30 stitch by 61 row square. And then on this edge of this one, I'll do another 18 by 37 square. And that's just how the rest of this works up. So I'll be going back and forth between teal and gray until the blanket is done. And I'll be back in a minute to show you how it all finished up. And here is the finished blanket. So I've got the big squares, little squares, and then both versions of the runners in the gray. This did end up being 40 by 60, but that's it for this project. Now remember, if you've made it this far, please consider dropping a like so that the algorithm tells both you and me that this is a video you'd like more of. And if you really like watching these kinds of videos, please consider subscribing. And I will see you next time on Make It Mondays. Bye.